In 1613, the Portuguese controlled every major trade route in the Indian Ocean. A single act of piracy against a Mughal empress was about to hand that entire network to the British. This map shows the geographical chokehold the Portuguese maintained. They functioned as an unavoidable maritime monopoly along India's western coast, forcing every merchant vessel to purchase a protection pass called a cartaz. Without this permit featuring the Virgin Mary, the Portuguese claimed the right to seize any ship and its cargo. The global balance of naval power rested on this system of extortion, placing European maritime aggression in direct opposition to the immense wealth of the Mughal Empire. Popular history often replaces the figure of Harkha Bai with the romanticized myth of Jodha Bai. The real woman was a political and economic titan. This comparison illustrates her military standing. As Akbar's wife and Jahangir's mother, she held the rank of 12,000 cavalrymen, an authority granted to only 3 other people in the entire empire. Her primary commercial asset was the Rahimi. At 1,500 tons, it was the largest Indian vessel on the water, designed to transport 700 Hajj pilgrims to Mecca each year. Despite her title, Mary of the Age, and her immense terrestrial power, Harkha Bai pragmatically secured a Portuguese cartaz for the Rahimi to ensure the safety of her passengers and cargo. She viewed the protection pass as a necessary business cost. The Portuguese, however, mistook this compliance for a lack of imperial resolve. On September 13, 1613, Governor Jerónimo de Azevedo intercepted the Rahimi near the port of Surat. Despite the ship's valid pass, he ordered it seized and towed to Goa. After kidnapping the 700 pilgrims and looting cargo worth roughly $500 million modern rupees, Azevedo set the colossal ship ablaze. Azevedo celebrated the destruction as a show of European strength, boasting that he had given the Mughal court a cause of sorrow. He miscalculated the response of Emperor Jahangir. In his autobiography, Jahangir rarely mentions Europeans, except to record their defeats, and he viewed this attack on his mother's ship as an unforgivable provocation. By targeting Harkha Bai's flagship, Azevedo had unintentionally declared war on the most powerful economic and political interests in India. Jahangir immediately halted all shipping through Surat. This diagram shows how the order paralyzed the region's most lucrative trade lines, instantly cutting off the Portuguese from the empire's wealth. The retaliation extended to the capital. Jahangir sealed the Jesuit church in Agra and suspended all state allowances previously granted to Portuguese priests. On the coast, the Mughal army moved to lay siege to the Portuguese-held town of Daman, trapping their forces within their own stone walls. The Portuguese attempted to settle the dispute with a payment of 3 lakh rupees. Jahangir refused the offer, opting to continue the economic and military squeeze. The response demonstrated that Portuguese naval supremacy could only exist with Mughal terrestrial consent, and that consent had been withdrawn. Jahangir's blockade created an immediate trade vacuum. The empire still required a maritime partner to secure the sea lanes, but the Portuguese were now diplomatically and economically exiled. The English East India Company arrived as a battle-tested alternative. They had recently defeated a Portuguese armada near Surat, proving to the Mughal court that they could challenge the existing maritime monopoly. Within a few years, Jahangir formally aligned the court with the English, granting them the commercial access the Portuguese had just lost. The Portuguese were forced into a permanent retreat to Goa. Azevedo, the governor who ordered the seizure of the Rahimi, was eventually recalled to Lisbon to face trial for his failures. The burning of Harkha Bai's ship turned a local trade dispute into a geopolitical shift. By destroying the Portuguese reputation at the Mughal court, Azevedo provided the English with the diplomatic opening they needed to begin their own century-long expansion.